So many people have watched this video by now. If you don't watch it right now to sit down and actually consume it, you're making a big mistake. What having no friends taught me, and it's...
Some of y'all have friends right now that don't even like you.
Ooh,
they say
deep.
slick jabs at you, and you tend to wonder, where'd that come from?
Those innuendos.
Or was that about me? You've just been brushing off all of those little comments that they make, those little passive aggressive little things that they do around you. You've just been brushing it off just for the sake of, well, that's just who she is, or that's just who he is. And then some of y'all have friends, and the only reason that you are even friends is because you hate alike. You hate the same person, you hate the same job.
I didn't get that, but yeah, I get it. Wow.
You hate the same person, you hate the same job, you hate the same teacher. It doesn't matter who it is, you just happen to hate the same thing or person, and that is the only reason you're friends.
You together,
some of y'all even have friends that are in a secret competition with you, or that you're in a competition with them, but you don't even realize it. And or even that they've been plotting against you this entire time. They've never liked you, but they've put a mask on because they are trying to get to whatever it is that you have, or take from you whatever it is that you hold within, whether it is peace, whether it is joy, whether it is the fact that so many people love you. Whatever it is, they want it, they've put a mask on, and they are around you trying to plot to take it from you. I'm in my 40s and I don't have any friends. And when I say friends, I mean like the people that I would call a friend would be like family to me. So I have my family, and those are my friends, my sisters, and I have my kids. My kids are not my friends, don't get it twisted. But they are my kids, and that's my family. They are held to a higher standard. They are, and I'm not talking about all family members, just these particular ones. If I were to call you a friend, you would be like family to me. I know people, I call people acquaintances, but people that I have called friend in the past turned out that they should have just been acquaintances. They really should not have even been that. But you know, you try to be positive and you try to give people the benefit of the doubt. By being in my 40s and not having any friends, it's almost like a you know how when you go you know how somebody talks about celibacy and basically what you're doing is you're fasting from any type of sexual act, desire, anything like that, and you end up cutting off a lot of soul ties by doing that. Things become more clear to you. You're able to recognize red flags in people. You allow God to steer you in the right direction when it comes to relationships. It has been somewhat the same thing when you don't have any friends. I'm not saying let go of your friends. If you have genuine friendships and people that are around you that you can call friends or family, and these people are pushing you forward, they are uplifting you, they are clapping every time you accomplish something, they are acknowledging your efforts, you know, they are including you in their plans and in their futures, and you're including them as well. You know, things like that, they're extremely positive. Consider yourself to be blessed. But for those of us that have had no boundaries, we've had people-pleasing type tendencies, and we have been chasing relationships. We have put ourselves in situations where we called people friends, and those friends really were people that just did not like us. They just tolerated us. So, for myself, being in my 40s.
Before she even says that, and a lot of people feel the need to belong, that sense of belonging. So you're dragging, or... deep, man. You're dragging along baggage with you, not understanding why do I feel like I tend not to go as far, or why does it feel like I can spend maybe 2 hours with this person and then I'm like, all right, they need to leave. Secretly in my mind, you can feel like, oh, I just need my own space. Those can be telltale signs. Like, you know, it's fun when things are calm, but and then you just start feeling like, all right, they need to leave now. I need my own space. Major red flag.
Not having any friends.
Let me know in the comments.
This is what it has allowed me to see, or what it's allowed me to do. Number one, not having any friends in my 40s has allowed me to put my focus back onto God and to build a better relationship with Him first. When I had a whole lot of people in my life that I would call friends in the past, it always seemed like they were trying to distract me from my purpose or from the path that I was supposed to be on. And not that they were deliberately distracting me, but they were a distraction. So if I needed to work on something, out of nowhere they would call and say, hey, let's go, we're going here, we're going there, we're going to this club, we're going to this, everybody's going out to eat, everybody's going out, whatever it was. It always, the activities that we engaged in was always distracting to what I was supposed to have been doing. And of course I'm going to jump up and get that dopamine rush and yeah, let's go, I'm in, whatever. And it was always a distraction. So by me not having any friends, it has allowed me to refocus back onto God first, because when you do that, when you put God first, he will steer you into the direction that you need to go as far as your purpose, friendships, relationships, all of that. It'll work out for the better. But we don't see that. Our judgment, our decisions, things like that is always clouded because of distractions. Number two, it has allowed me the freedom in making my decisions. So for example, you might have a friend or some friends that if you tell them something like, I'm going to plan this trip to go, to Colombia or something like that. And they're like, I thought it wasn't safe over there. You might not want to go. Why not just go to Miami? You're like, what? They're constantly like sowing seeds of doubt, negativity in the decisions that you make. You tell them about a business that you want to start and, maybe you even want to include them. And they're just like constantly putting things in your ear that are negative or just doubtful. And it causes you to say, well, okay, maybe not. Maybe I won't do this. But they don't see the vision that you have. They don't see the vision that you were given. The vision was for you, and you keep bringing it up to them. You're not supposed to be doing that anyway, but you keep bringing it up to them and they are always shutting it down. They may not even be doing it on purpose. It's just the fact that they don't see the vision in themselves, or they can't see the vision for themselves, or they may.
As Les Brown says, most of the most millions or trillions amounts of dollars are locked up in the graveyards because those people were with partners or people who couldn't see it for themselves, so therefore they portrayed that image onto you as well. So basically let's say for example you have someone who used to say I want to be a millionaire when they were younger in their 20s or 30s. Now they're 50, 60 and they still haven't seen success. They've given up, a walking zombie, walking dead. And now whenever you tell them I want to be successful, they're like, no, you can't do it. Why? Like, it doesn't make sense. They can't see it for themselves because they weren't able to accomplish it. Now they want to rub their failures on you. Get away from that I don't care who it is. Get away from them ASAP. They're taking away your energy. They're taking away your energy.
They may be fearful. Like if they were put in that position, they know themselves that they wouldn't be able to perform or to start the task. So they end up speaking it out loud, and then you take that in and it now becomes your reality. So not having any friends has allowed me to have the freedom of decision making without having those negative voices around me or anybody sowing seeds of doubt or guilt or shame or anything like that. The third thing is that it has taught me how to enjoy my own company and to advocate for myself. So if I see something is wrong for me, I can stick up for myself or I can speak up for myself versus waiting on the group to see what they say, or waiting on somebody else to stick up for me, or waiting for somebody else to say something. This is particularly because of the fact that in my lifetime, I haven't always been able to advocate for myself. When something is wrong and I want to speak up and say something, I was not used to that without getting some kind of backlash or some type of abuse or some type of punishment or anything like that. So I always relied on other people to stick up for me. And if people didn't stick up for me or have my back, I always felt discouraged or frustrated or just disappointment. And it would lead to me believing that I just wasn't worthy of sticking up for. Me being by myself has allowed me to, one, enjoy my own company, and two, being able to stick up for myself and advocate for myself in situations that I feel are wrong for me or wrong toward me, or if I'm just needing some kind of help with something. Number 4 would be setting boundaries. Oh my gosh. So not having any friends allows me to see what or take account to what I will tolerate and what I will no longer tolerate when it comes to friendships. And with that, I can establish boundaries so that if I do meet new friendships, I can establish those boundaries
your
early
limits.
on. Something as simple as, look, if you're going to call me at 3:00 in the morning, make sure it's some kind of emergency and it's not because you broke up with your boyfriend for the 5th time. Y'all are fighting like two ninjas in the middle of the street. Like, don't call me about that. I'm not showing up for you. Okay. I'm not going to jail for you. I got kids. Don't bother me with that. Setting those boundaries and setting them early on with people that you meet, that's what it has allowed me to do. Yeah, I've had people do that. There's one girl, I remember, oh my gosh, she didn't have a car. And she calls me to come pick her up. Then she said, we going over to such and such house. For what? Because she talking about she want to fight and I need you to back me up. And we gonna go over there. So my stupid tail, go over there, drives her over there. We get out the car and she goes knocking on the door and the girl's grandmother comes out with a 12 gauge shotgun.
I was about to say that.
I ran back to the car and I said, I'm not
Never
doing
again.
this. Like, this is not my life. This will not be my life. She tried to make fun of me and tried to shame me for running and all that. Like, what you running for? We were supposed to be fighting her. No, you supposed to be fighting her. Stop including me in your BS. Stop including me in your shenanigans. Okay. Anyway, that was a whole. That was some mess. Number 5, it has taught me how to be a friend to myself first and not be codependent. By being by myself, I learn what it is that I like, what I don't like. And a lot of times people like myself in the past, you get into these friendships and you don't really know your identity too much because you just feel like you've never really belonged anywhere. And anytime you try to be yourself or be authentic, people told you, no, don't do that. You know, or they would get annoyed because you didn't want to be rejected. You would constantly change who you were. It gets to a point where you just don't know who you are anymore. And you end up following behind their interests and what it is that they want to do, and you end up feeling like,
losing
I don't
your
even want to
identity.
do this anymore. This is not, I don't even like, third eye blind, like, seriously, which I do, but it allows you to be able to build a relationship with yourself. So first, you're building a relationship with God. Second, you're building a relationship with yourself. What are the things that I like? What are the things that I don't like? How can I be a friend to myself? And how I'm being a friend to myself can allow me to become a good friend to you. And this way, it allows me to not be codependent on somebody. In a friendship. I don't want to be codependent with you. Every time you want to get up and go do something, you need me to come along. Or every time I go to the grocery store, I need you there with me because I can't deal with people around me too much. So I need somebody there. Every time I go out to a restaurant, I need somebody to sit next to me. No, I don't. We're not doing that. We're too grown for that. If you want to be able to go to a restaurant, sit down and eat all by yourself, you can be mature enough to do that. You can be confident in yourself enough to do that. That's called being independent. And that's what we want in life. You don't want to be codependent because not only are we sharing each other's interests and each other's life, we are sharing each other's emotions, and you could possibly be taking on demons that you didn't even sign up for. Number 6, I've been able to recognize red and green flags early on in friendships. Now I can tell when somebody's being real. I can tell when somebody's being authentic in real life. On camera, it's different. You've got some people that are on camera and they're being fake and stuff, and you take it for what it is. It's entertainment, it's information, it's social media, it's YouTube, whatever it is. But for the most part, like in real life, if we're hanging around each other for a few weeks and I start to notice that you are an a-hole to the waitress, or I start to notice that you are always distracting me, acting as if you can't do something on your own, just little things like that. I'm able to detect them early on. But it's not just the red flags, it's the green ones too. So when you can see that someone is genuinely thinking about you or caring about you, asking you questions, remembering your birthday, things like that, those are green flags and in friendships. Number 7 is that without distraction, it has allowed me to reflect on the past friendships that I've had where I am needing to take accountability for the role I played in the demise of our friendship. If I was friends with somebody and it went south and we no longer talk anymore, it's allowed me not being distracted by new friends or always going out, stuff like that. It's allowed me to kind of reflect. What you're not wanting to do is look back on it and feel sorry for yourself or cry about it, you know what I mean? Or like see who to blame or anything like that. You want to look back and reflect on taking accountability is what you're doing. You want to see where could you have given grace? Where could you have forgiven the person, or where could you have stepped in and said something, and how could you do better next time? Maybe this relationship is not salvageable, but for the next person, how can I be a better person or a better friend to them?
Accountability, like what transferable skills have I learned that I can take on and move it on to the next person and improve overall, what's going on.
Have that space and time alone. It allows you to reflect back on those relationships and to take accountability for the role that you played in the demise
let's get
of
to this
them.
spike here.
And you decide, you know what, I shouldn't have yelled at her like that. You can always call them and apologize. Now, if their response to you in the way that you treated them was completely crazy, I mean, like you yelled at them and they went and pulled a knife and said, you yell at me one more time. Now that is unexcusable. It's like, okay, yes, I apologize for yelling at you, but I now can see that you could possibly murder me. So we're just going to stay our distance. Okay. And the last one, number 8, it ties into the first one. And basically in putting God first, it's allowed me to let him steer the way. Let him, instead of me forcing to look for these friendships by going online and seeing who, in Facebook groups, like-minded people, you can do that. You can join support groups. You can join groups where people are trying to meet new friends. You can join like-minded groups, whatever it is. You can go out to the library and meet new people. You can do the things that most people do anyway to try to meet friends. But what you don't want to do is force a connection with people. If you're putting God first, God is going to put it in your path. And also by building my relationship stronger with God, it increases my discernment. So it'll allow me to see if somebody is, or recognize when somebody is going to just be around for a season or lifetime, or they're a particular reason. If there is a specific reason that they are in my path, like it could be something to help me start a business and then poof, they're gone. But then here comes somebody else that God has sent that is going to expand my business. When I build a better relationship with God and put my trust there, it will allow me to, it kind of takes the burden off my hand. You know what I mean? You give it to God and let God handle it, and God is going to do what he do. You know what I mean? Versus you trying to set up shop and make new friends and force new relationships and stuff like that. And your entire life becomes a mess. You know what I mean? And it's going to be like, now you're trying to get the new administration to come in and clean up your mess, that you made. But anyway, this is not a video on...
Let me see the comment section real quick. Girl who told you to start preaching, the truth. I've been relearning and reliving so much throughout my 20s. My soul needed this. Thank you. 629 likes. I agree. This one's got 4.3k. Like, I don't understand why people think having no friends is weird. It's it's society. It is society. Introduction of phones, everyone's like this and all of that. So, and it's that thing even back in school. That's what I'm saying, society. Like back in school, if you see that one child who doesn't have any friends, what would people call him? A loser, a loner. You're a loner Larry over there. He has no friends. So it's not even something that's just like now. It's like growing up or raised when you're by yourself. It's not ideal, So yeah, but this is just the truth. But this video, goodness me, man. In reality, a lot of people don't really have friends. They have associates. 100% true. And those associates are the snakes that usually end up destroying them later on down the path. And then they eventually realize it would have been better me being alone. But then again, we're creatures of we're used to having people around us. It's actually good for you to have people around you. It's a good thing. But now we live in an environment where everybody wants to one up on you, or there's an ulterior motive where it becomes dangerous. But being in community, hence the term why it says it takes what is it? It takes a village to raise a child, and all of this, because everything back in the days was a lot more community based. It actually took a village to raise a child. Why? Because when your child leaves your house, you know all your neighbors because it's a community, all right? And if he's out there doing things that he shouldn't be doing, or talking or interacting with people he shouldn't be, or being rude or whatever it is, back in the days, he'll get disciplined there and then. But now we've changed it. I don't know, if you do that, then you are abusive. If you're not even allowed to address someone else's child. Like, you might know them, you might know their parents, but if you address them, they'll be like, who the heck are you? I don't even listen to my parents. Why am I going to listen to you? This is the reality we live in. So it's ideal for you to curate and have the people around you, the closest people around you, they need to be on the same wavelength for the mindset that you're in, and their goals doesn't need to be exact, but it needs to align similarly to your one. If not, you're on the wrong path, and they're going to drag you down their path, because good always gets corrupted by evil. It's never the other way around. Evil, you know, if I take a rotten banana and I put it next to good bananas that are fresh, that rotten banana is going to rot the heck out of all of those bananas in under a day. It starts looking moldy already, dying. But if I take a good banana and I put it next to the rotten batch of bananas, the good banana isn't going to purify and cure all of those rotten bananas, and all of a sudden they're rejuvenated. They're now fresh again. No. The good banana is going to get his butt rotten as well. You get the gist. So look, if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comment section down below. Share it, like this video. It helps out a ton, pushing algorithm wise. And let me know which video to check out next. God bless you. I'll catch you guys on the next one.